No. There's never going to be a single Sulik kiss
I'm not
ever.
gonna, I was gonna say no too, but the fact that Mike said it so fast makes me want to go against it now. So we'll see what happens.
Mike has not told everybody that we're currently
Yeah, I know.
Arise, minions, and welcome to Unmade Gaming. We are here for another episode of Void, where no, you will not be getting your Sulik kiss. However, maybe other ones.
Oh my god, what are you guys doing already?
Wow.
Dude.
Well, I can say by how quickly that corruption bar is going, tonight will end with a bang. So let's jump right into things here. No, not between Sulik, you man whore.
No means no.
As always, if you guys like what we're doing here and you want to support the channel and whatever no makes us do, Patreon down below is the best way to support us. Join us in the Discord, be a part of the conversation, talk about this game, all the other games we're in, and as always, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see that corruption bar, which serves two purposes. One is when that bar fills, Dog gets to do whatever the hell she wants to us. Usually it's terrible. Two is every single dollar that goes into that bar goes back to these wonderful, amazing faces you see here before you. That being said, I will turn things over to Dot and her wonky camera. Dot, take us into space.
Sorry, I was turning my green screen off so my eyes and cup would not void out, though that does seem rather thematically appropriate.
I mean, if I could, please do it for my sake.
I don't think it was being wonky, as Mike so poignantly made clear. Let's see. I don't think it's gonna work, y'all. See, it wants to get everything but my green mug. It wants me to have a solid colored background. So,
wow.
I look a bit goddess-like, if I do say so myself.
It's a good look for you.
I'm not gonna lie, it kind of look like wings because of like how it riffles in the bottom.
It's
kind of cool.
Pretty appropriate. All I'm saying.
So, cool.
Fine.
Cool. This week on Void,
when it comes to
this crew has made it back to Coriolis after an extended trip back across the third horizon, but not before the Defiant was boarded and searched, and what's what I'm looking for? They three stooged their way out of being having retinal scans done to identify them, because could you imagine they're seeking runaway prisoners from a recent prison break in the area. They have clearly nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. Nothing.
Hearsay.
So
we
much,
obviously
in fact,
wouldn't have anything.
Heresy, I would say.
Yeah.
I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Who hid in the air shaft while they searched.
I was checking the air filter, thank you.
Well, you didn't find any air, but you did find Alia, who also hid when they boarded. Alia is currently in a tight embrace with the orb that is filled with the jinn that was ripped from Lamara's body during an ancient ritual of exorcism. Everybody decided they wanted to go home because they had been asked to return by the judge, who sent them on their original mission way back in season 1. The hypersleep woke Lamara up. They left Alia in cryosleep while Sul, Tau, and Tamir took to Coriolis to speak with the judge to find out what was going on. And Malik and Lamara had some interesting conversations inside of a box. That's actually what happened. For real though. No, that's not me being cheeky, y'all. And then the judge proceeded to tell them that they needed this crew's help again. The Defiant came through so beautifully on their first mission. They're saying things in chat and I'm ignoring it. So whatever their faces are, I need you, chat, to also ignore them so I can get through this recap. I hate you all so much.
We did it. We broke her. We win. We win.
I haven't even
Coriolis.
read what's in chat yet. I'm just looking at your faces.
I know.
Yes. Oh no, stop. Jinn puns, really? Okay. I'm turning this vessel around. We're going back to season 1 and starting.
Oh, I just saw it.
All right.
God,
Where were we?
If we go back to season 1, it's going to be so much worse.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's right. You know, clearly the most responsible of the crew: Tal, Tamir, Sewell. Leave the frozen Jinner in cryo sleep and head off to Coriolis.
Eris is there dying. She's just gone.
Look, I'm on a roller coasters of emotions like right now, so just don't mind me.
Yeah, don't mind me over here crying. It's fine. Okay.
I'm sorry, Dot.
Once they spoke with the judge is when the important information actually happened, which is that their success from the first mission they were sent on in season 1 has set them up to be offered another mission, one of equal import and directly connected to the original mission. That wonderful system of Towan. Remember that place? Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Well, it was without stars and full of something else. And on the other side, all of you found half of the battle vessel. If you remember correctly, you were chased and then you ended up taking refuge on the mining colony where you picked up your own jinn. But that vessel, that battleship, the Zafirah, that was escorting the Ghazali, half of it was still missing. And the judge informed you that it has returned. The Towan portal, Uharu's side, ejected the rest of this vessel clear across that system. They believe it has crash landed into the dark side of a moon, if you can believe that, an ice moon. They want all of you to go with a team. You've been given 2 legionnaires and I believe a colonel to come with you. I can't remember what her status is. I'll have to double check that. She might be a mercenary. I'm not sure. Anyways, to escort you as a little bit of backup, and you are going to go to the dark side of this moon and recover as much data as you can, ideally the blue disc, from the bridge of the Zafirah, and then return. Problem is, you have to enter Uharu's side, and the entirety of Uharu is currently being run by the Order of the Pariah. They have blockades all over because they don't want anyone passing in to Towan from this system. The opposite system, which you know all too well, the Hamura Station, other way around, Hammurabi Station, Hamura system. I get it right. The Hamura system is being run by the consortium. And when all was said and done, you were reminded that maybe a check-in with your wily patron would not hurt. Tamir set off to check on an old friend. Tal and Sewell decided that maybe drinks were in order. It's been a very, very long trip from the other side of the third horizon. And a box date is going on. But our camera for tonight starts on a Jinner. On the other side of a very frozen piece of glass is Alia. Cold around your fingers, wrapped in tight embrace with this orb. It embers and glows, and we can see your hands have a little bit of energy that engulfs them, keeping you firmly connected. But we're going to check out what's going on inside of that orb. In fact, we're going to cut back in time a little bit. You hear Tal's voice come over the intercom, telling you that we're about to be boarded. Your heart begins to race. You and Sholey have been through this one too many times. And in your hands at the moment is this orb. Something that is powerful and definitely does not want to fall into the wrong hands. And as you see Malik pick up Lamara to take her to medbay, your heart races and tells you that you need to hide. I'm going to have you roll an infiltration to find a place to hide. A good place to hide.
1 second. I just realized my roll 20 crapped out on me. 1 second. Crap. Almost.
I'm looking to see. I wanted to see what cards were in play because it may be time to draw new cards, everyone.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Why is
No,
it
that's fine.
so
We don't see
slow?
that.
I love cards.
A lot of darkness points to spend, I'm going to be honest.
Come on. Launch, you bastard. Almost.
Roll20's having some hiccups tonight, by the way, everyone.
Yeah.
So bear with us if Roll20 is a tad slow. It is not.
Almost there. All right.
All right.
All right. What did you want me to roll?
An infiltration.
Okay. If I have a 0.
Then you will roll whatever the base agility, I believe.
You can still just click infiltration, KP.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That sucked.
You start trying to look for a place. Unless is there anything? Actually, let me say this: is there anything you want to do to that roll before I move on narratively?
She's a big lady. She's although
She's a big lady.
although she has. I feel like considering that she's been on the vessel for over a year now, and knowing the fact that she has at this point with Sholey and everything, constantly having to be on the run, she has a knack for hiding. So I'm gonna give you that darkness point.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll again.
All right. I believe that puts me at 11. Everyone.
Fuck. Yeah, there we go.
Okay. A single success. It starts out rough. You do know this vessel, but you also know this vessel isn't built to hide people. Probably it's not built to hide people of your size, but you know that that you have scouted the ship up and down, and you know that there is a nook that you fit in on that is connected to the temple, that actually connects the temple to the med bay. It's like a hidey hole, and you haven't had to use it yet, but you just remember it being there. And your feet begin to carry you there as fast as humanly possible. You can hear the door downstairs open and the sound of muttered voices as Tal begins communicating with whoever has gotten on board. The panel, I need you to make a force check to pry the panel away.
Okay. Force is there.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
With you hold this orb under one arm, and with a single hand you like loop around and pry this whole piece of metal off with a single arm, and are able to like put it back as you get in. It looks like it's sealed shut. You can't even see that the seams have been broken, and there's a moment where your breath is made loud in your ears by this air duct or this metal tin space that you sit in. You can hear yourself breathing, and it might even remind you of when you were a child, constantly hiding in an air duct here, a small space there, as Sholey always managed to talk your way out of any blockade that you went through. And then the orb in your hand, it vibrates. It's the first bit of anything, commotion that has come from it since you ripped it clean of Lamara not but 15 minutes ago.
Oh boy.
It's just kind of like
I just kind of Alia just stares at it going, not now.
You speak to it. Roll
Fuck.
a mystic ability.
Okay. Hey.
Okay, added 2. The orb stops vibrating instantly. It becomes just glass in your hand, still heavy. And the black ichor on the inside, it swirls and moves. You can't decide if it's liquid or if it's gas and smoke. Rather beautiful. And as you watch it quiet, this vibration, you hear whispers in the air. Sounds of voices that should not be. They echo in this chamber with you.
Alia just stays quiet or tries to stay as quiet as she can.
Okay. You still try to maintain being quiet. But the sounds of these whispers, they grow louder. Maybe you begin to look around for a source and you can't pinpoint one. And then a ringing starts in your ears. The whispering turns into strange, dark sounds and noises. And as it grows, the sounds, they become deafening. You have to close your eyes to handle this pinging and ringing. Your ears feel like they may bleed, pop. I'm going to have you roll. Let's see if you can actually keep your composure, because you may just pass out from the pain.
Oh, that's great. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to, this is going to be I'm just trying to see if, looking at your sheet, if there's anything I can. Nope. This is just a flat out strength check.
Okay.
You're trying to keep quiet, of course. Okay, you get a single success, and it's a 6. I'll give you that. Okay. You're trying so hard to keep quiet. The pain is vibrating through you like the energy was just vibrating on this orb that you quieted. It seems to have redirected its energy. And as you try to control yourself and keep the pain in check, I'm going to give you 2 options. You're either going to yelp out in pain or you're going to pass out.
That's a good question. Oh gosh. I think she's hyper. Oh yeah, she's gonna pass out. She's gonna pass because she's so trying not to make any noise, and it's like ingrained into her not to make any noise.
And you swallow that pain. You know what it is to have to swallow pain in the face of your life and potentially the lives of others. And when you do, it is more than your skull can actually handle. And you feel that sharp pain simmer up your spine like somebody jabbing a pin into your neck. And the pain forces you to close your eyes and your body goes limp, embraced with this orb. You don't know how much time passes. But when you become conscious, we'll say, and your eyes begin to adjust, you feel moisture in the air. The ringing, pinging tinniness of where you were hiding has dissipated and is now an echoey cavern. Your robes are wet. You seem to be sitting in water.
Look around, try to see if I can find any form of recognize anything around me.
You can roll an observation.
Okay. There it is. I don't have anything. That's fine. That's a failure.
As you stand up and rub your eyes, there's still a residual pain in your skull, and it causes those like stars around your eyes and the difficulty for you to be able to see. In fact, you don't see the person behind you that approaches you.
Fuck.
Their voice reaches out. They can't be but 5 feet away. They could have touched you if they wanted to. And her voice simply says, "Ah, a visitor."
So, you're the one who dragged me in here?
You spoke to me first.
Pretty sure that there was other whisperings in my head before then.
Maybe. Who's to say? But now that you're here, and you can see she begins to kind of walk around you. She's beautiful, tall, kind of dark, tanned skin, very much touched by the sun. She doesn't wear a lot of makeup or anything like that. She has this just natural beauty, the kind of beauty that tales are told of and wars are started for. She wears a dress that is made of like a sheer material, and if there was more light, you'd be able to see straight through it. But it touches the water and dissipates into it as if what she wears is the surroundings around you. And as she very much predatorily kind of checks you out, she says, "Actually, I guess since we're being so transparent, I don't know why you're here. It wasn't quite my doing. But you did trap me here, yes?"
Trapping seems such a strong word. I figured more of separating you from my friend.
Then you must not know a whole lot about me, because my existence is either free or trapped. And I was free for a brief period of time, and then you and your friends came along.
Freedom at the cost of others is not really much of a freedom at all, I would say.
I wouldn't. But then again, maybe that's what makes us so different.
Who said we were the same?
She smiles. She goes, "You don't seem concerned about what I am. I'm going to take that as either you are very dumb or you've seen one of me before. And since you managed to read ancient texts and rip me from that girl's measly corpse, I suspect it's the latter."
Well, regardless of what the situation is, we are here now. What do you want?
What I wanted when I started all of this. To be free of a container and roaming about.
Unfortunately.
Yes, I know. You're here to save the day. You and your friends think I'm evil. Mm.
I never said that. I just said you hurt my friend in the process. You are a predator. You are in your nature what you are. I can't change that. I can't change you. I understand this.
No, but you can trap me in this little glass ball, and that pisses me off. So who are you? Do you have a name?
Names have a lot of power. You tell me yours first.
Now, why would I do a silly thing like that? Is there
common
something
courtesy
that I can call you?
Priestess is fine.
Priestess. Well, priestess. I don't know why you're here, unless for some strange reason the icons are riding your coattails and seem to be, what's that word? Oh, yes. Helping you in some way.
Oh, I wish. Otherwise, I would not be in this ball with you, would I?
How's the girl?
I wouldn't know. I've been She's been in a little bit of a coma, so
I
that's not
imagine
ideal.
So.
What do you mean?
Well, she spent roughly a decade in my presence.
It's been a
And
year.
considering the fact that she... Yes, time works differently here. See, here, I make the rules. Here, your little books and your tricks, they don't work. That's the deal. I stay out of your world, and trapped here, this becomes mine.
If you wield so much power, why would you want to leave your world?
Because nobody likes to be trapped with only their power. Plus, I can gain much more power if I simply procreate and eat the male. It's a very simple process, really, and then I will be out of your hair, but all of you had to go and meddle. So,
Let me ask you this. A wolf comes into a pack of sheep and starts eating the sheep. There's nothing wrong with the wolf, nothing wrong with the sheep. But the sheep is my friend. So obviously, I'm going to keep you out. There's a fence, I put you on the other side of the fence.
do you tend a herd?
It's a metaphor.
Yes, it is. My question, it is for the metaphor. Do you tend a herd?
I am part of the herd. I'm not a tender. I'm not anything else. I am simply am who I am.
Then I'll tell you something. All great shepherds learn that eventually the weakest of the flock are dead anyways. So they learn to sacrifice them. Let them be taken by the wolves so that the best of the herd survive.
That seems like a last resort. I don't think we're there yet, are we? Because clearly I've taken my friend and...
She says, no, we were there. I was feeding on the weak, and then you came and you took it from me. And she begins to kind of grow in size as she gets angrier.
You know,
She
temper
says,
tantrums is not going to get you anywhere.
well, it doesn't look like either of us are going anywhere, so I'll throw all the tantrums I want. She says, better yet, your company, it bores me. And she kind of waves her hand and she says, when you figure out what you're here for, let me know, because I sure would like to get you out of here. And she kind of disappears into the darkness, leaving you in this empty vastness once again. So
Alia
Alia
sits
do
down.
anything. Okay.
She sits down and starts meditating.
Okay, nice. I'm going to have you roll an observation, but I'm going to let you do it with a plus die because you are in a concentrated like state.
Woohoo! All right. So mystic or sorry, observation you said, right?
Observation, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that would mean +1. Excuse me. And then hit observation. Come on. Nope.
Nope, that's a failure again. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you you're not praying, you're just meditating.
I was just meditating.
Okay.
Kind
great.
of being patient.
Yeah. So you sit.
Would that just be I guess yeah, just meditating.
Yeah, so I
Meditating
guess
is
my
fine.
question is, are you reaching out to your icons? Are the icons in any way? Or are you sitting here in quiet meditation for like mindfulness?
Mindfulness. I think just trying to
Great.
focus and figure out what the hell's happening first.
Okay. So you don't hear anything. In fact, you don't think there has ever been a better place ever to probably meditate. The water eventually goes to solid stillness, like a smooth marble floor. And your robes now are drenched as you sit crisscrossed in this very still water, and you meditate. And you meditate. And you meditate. You don't know how much time passes. But you sit there and you sit there, and eventually, faintly and in the distance, you hear the sound of crying of a child. It whimpers as if to try to keep its cries subdued, but it can't seem to.
I open my eyes and look around. Do I see the child or whoever the voice is?
About 10 or 12 feet off, just in front of you, there's a box. A wooden box. About 4 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot, like a perfect kind of wooden cube. The lid on top sits askew a little bit. It seems that the sounds are seeping out of the open cracks.
Alia gets up and starts approaching the box.
Do you do it silently, or do you want to just like walk over?
Definitely silently.
Okay, then I will actually have you roll to remain silent. This would be an infiltration.
That's a 0.
That's
I'm gonna go still infiltration or agility.
Just agility.
Okay. Fail.
You try very hard to cross the space quietly, but you're walking through 2 inches of water. Your robes drag and the sound of water follows you. It's impossible to move silently, at least it seems this way. And you can hear the muffled cries go to absolute silence as the clapping of a small hand across this mouth. And as you get close to the box and just maybe even peer through the cracks that are there, you can see a figure on the inside scoots back into the farthest corner away from where you are.
I lean in and I go, "Hello? Are you okay?"
There's like a crying, and you hear a small voice say, "I know it's you. You can't trick me anymore."
Hey. No, I'm not hurt. My name is Alia. Are you hurt? Are you okay?
And then just like tears actually, you know what? Roll an empathy.
Okay. Empathy, I can do. God, I can't. I'm going to give you a darkness.
Okay, that puts me at 12 darkness points, everybody. 12 darkness points. I don't have my laptop out tonight, so I'm breaking them in. That's all right. I'm also going to...
There we go.
Okay.
1 success. I have 5 empathy. How is this? Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
Like I said, chat, the box is roughly 4 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot. The little voice says, I don't think I'm hurt, but she took my stuff.
What did she take?
And from the crack comes a hand, like a very small child's hand, and it holds in it a piece of fabric. I'm going to have you roll. I don't know what I want to have you roll for this. I'm going to have you roll another empathy check, I think.
Okay.
To see if you recognize this piece of fabric.
Yeah.
Okay, you do immediately. This is a piece of Malik's shumag that Lamara had when she came back through to the other side. And eventually another hand kind of comes and like pulls the lid of this crate back. And this small girl stares at you, bright blue eyes. Time hasn't had the opportunity to dull them with truth and anger and war. And she looks so bright-eyed, except she's been crying a lot. You can see she looks rather emaciated. And deep in her hand, she clutches the piece of this shumag. And she says, she took it from me.
There. And you see her reach down and just wipe some of the tears off of her cheeks.
She flinches. She flinches away from you a little bit. And she says, I don't understand. Have you been here the whole time?
No, my dear. Unfortunately, I just came. I wish I was here before. But I'm here now.
I can't go back. I can't go back until I have it.
Okay. Let's go get it.
She's never gonna give it to you. And she kind of pulls back into the box and slides the lid closed.
Well, not if we're scared of her.
I'm not scared as long as I'm in here.
It's a nice box.
It's the safest box.
It is. Well, how about this? Why don't you stay in the box? I'm going to go talk to her, and I'll get you back your stuff.
You're gonna get it back.
I'll do my best, but whether I get it back or not, will you promise me something? Can you come with me afterwards?
Only if I have the other part.
I know it's important, but let me tell you.
I can't let her have that part. She already took the other stuff.
What else did she take from you?
Everything.
Okay.
I watched her eat my memories.
How about this? You stay right there. I'll be right back. Okay? Are you hungry?
She stops for a second, and she you can see that question wash over her, when was the last time this child has even thought about food? And she says, I don't understand.
Is there any chance I can pull out a little piece of candy from my coat? Is there any chance that is a possibility here?
Yes, I would say sure. What kind of candy do you pull out?
Just the one that I'm figuring it's more like a mind thing. So I just imagine the hard rock candy that her and Sue had gotten, the big container of those, and so she just remembers that, and she pulls out a smaller container, not like that quite big. She goes, don't eat all this at once. Here you go.
Her eyes kind of get big, and she goes, no, don't give it to me. If I take it, she'll take it.
I'll stop her. You go ahead and enjoy that.
She takes it and slides the box lid closed again, and you can hear her turn the lid open, and a small hand rustle around in rock candy.
Alia gets up, turns around, and walks a little forward back to her original spot. And then she yells out, or not yell out, she calls out, all right, Jinn, it's time we talked.
I'm gonna have you roll I'm gonna let you choose. You can roll command or manipulation.
Okay. Ooh, I don't think I have either. Do I have any of those?
If not, then I believe they're based on empathy.
Yes.
Manipulation's based on empathy, so roll another empathy check.
Okay.
You're basically commanding.
Oh, yes!
Holy shit.
Fuck yeah.
Okay. Your voice rings out with a purpose, different than before. The questions and the small things. And as you stand, you see the box behind you recedes off into nothingness of existence, and you don't even have to walk anywhere. You simply say it. Show yourself. And there's a moment as the blackness takes form through smoke, and she whirls into existence. Just as beautiful as last time, just as innocent looking. And she looks upset. She says, well, I don't like being, that's what I'm looking for, told what to do.
I didn't tell you anything. I said we needed to talk. And you came.
Is there something that I can do for you?
You have something of mine, and I would like it back, please.
That's rather humorous.
Mm-hmm. Well, be it as it may, I'm not leaving until you give it back from me.
And what, pray tell, do I have of yours? Oh, well, other than your friend's soul and heart and spirit.
Well, those things for start.
Oh, I wish I could give those back, but unfortunately I have, consumed them whole?
Okay. Well, if nothing else, there's a piece of cloth.
Cloth. Oh. Oh. There's a part of her still here.
No, just what I know.
And what is it that you know?
That my friend is not whole outside, and I would like her whole, please. At least as much as I can possibly take from here. You've had your fill. You've had quite a bit. I know you want more, but unfortunately, at this point, you are not going to get it. And I know that a small morsel is not going to do you any good either.
I want something in exchange. I'll give back your friends.
What it is you have. Anything that's left.
I'll give you back anything that's left. But I want you to free me into a new body. One of your choosing. You can't tell your friends.
I'm not going to hurt another innocent simply for this. That's not how it's going to work.
Innocent. I just need a vessel. Smart and strong. Ideally in love. That sure would speed up the process.
You know I can't do that.
Then
I don't know anybody. First off, I don't know anybody that is, at least in my eyes, not innocent. Everybody is to a certain extent innocent.
Mm-hmm.
And you taking over someone else for that, I'm sorry, I cannot do personally.
You think she's innocent? The doctor.
I'm saying to me, she has a level of innocence that I would like to protect.
Mm.
Whether it's 100%, 10%, whatever it may be. It's not my duty to judge. I'm not a judge.
No, you're not. But you're strong. And she begins to look you up and down again, and passionate. What say I don't just keep you here?
You can certainly try.
Could maybe feed on you for significantly longer than that frail doctor.
Was that a comment about my height?
If you need it for whatever overcompensation, fine. But no, it was a comment on your soul. It is strong and whole.
I'm going to now call upon the Lady of the Tears.
And do what?
At this point, I just want her to pray to her and say, please let me take what was lost. Let me take what was taken and return it back to where it needs to be.
Okay, I'm going to have you do a few things. There is technically already a Lady of Tears card in play,
Okay.
I believe, which means you have to draw a second one.
Oh, damn.
And put it on the table. You're going to have 2 active cards at the moment.
I mainly said that out of not knowing the pure mechanics of this. So
there is no mechanics. This is Dot. This is Dot saying okay, because there are no mechanics for like the Deus Ex Machina of an icon stepping in.
Fair point.
What do you say to the lady? Okay, so we're gonna draw an extra card. What do you say to the Lady of Tears?
Just draw one. I'm going to just say, my dear sorrowful lady, I need your assistance. There is an innocent here who has lost her way and lost what is hers. Please help me return it back to her and help me by leaving with her out of this place. I'm gonna draw the card.
Draw the card, and then I am also going to have you roll.
Okay. Did it draw? I said draw, but
It might have. I'll have to check it here in a second. I'm going to give you. I will allow you to use your mystic powers or culture check, whichever you prefer. Basically, it's an empathy check.
gotcha. Yeah, I think Mystic would be the best one.
Okay.
Simply because I have more.
Just see if you can reach. Oh, that's
God
so
fucking.
bad. Would you like to re-roll that?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Here you go, like candy. Dot.
13.
Jeez, come on.
Y'all are.
God damn it!
Yes. There's a moment, and you cry out, and the jinn, she starts to laugh. She says, "They can't hear you in here. I am made of pure darkness. I consume the icons' words and prayers for breakfast."
Well, it was worth a shot.
She says, "You can try as you might. I didn't say that you had to let me free today or tomorrow, but when you find the right vessel, we make a deal that you free me." And if you don't uphold your end of the bargain, of course, well, I guess we'll just be roommates now, won't we? Forever and ever. Until some other stupid mystic comes along and rubs this little orb. And then I guess we'll have to see which one comes out the other side. Intriguing.
Side note, how powerful are jinns?
You can roll a culture check to see if you can figure out what you know about this jinn.
Okay. Culture check.
Everybody's like, "No, make deals
God
with jinn."
fucking.
Oh, yes.
God, what is today?
All right, here's what I'm gonna
Today.
say. I'm gonna let you re-roll 2 die for
Okay.
different reasons because you have been studying this information
Okay.
as well. Take 2 more. Let's just even 1 success would be nice.
Okay.
No,
Mystic.
it's okay.
I mean, culture, right? Okay.
Yes, culture.
Oh God, thank you.
Okay.
Oh God, thank you, Lord.
Okay, culture. You know a few things. This seems to be a specific type of jinn. The more and more lore that you read, it seems that not all jinn take the same form because they're not all necessarily the same demon, right? That comes from the other side. This one seems to be specifically a bit of a succubus type. There seems to be like the preying on the male figure to rise to full power kind of a thing. There are a lot of powerful jinn. She seems rather ancient. You were able to kind of put that together, which tells you probably the older they are, the more powerful that they are. So far, at least from what you can tell, she's not tried to use any powers against you. You're not sure why, but she does seem to constantly remind you that she could feed on you if she wanted to. And yes, chat, I'm going to acknowledge the fact we have 2 corruption bars, which we will get to momentarily.
Oh God. Everything. God damn it. I'm stuck in here with a jinn with 2 corruption bars. Fuck me.
All you gotta
It's
do is
only
make
9
a deal.
p.m.
Oh man, no.
Make a deal with Dot.
God damn it.
Do it.
Alia just stares at her for a bit and then sits back down and starts meditating.
Well, then this is going to be a very long journey, isn't it? And she says, "Just let me know when you've changed your mind." You can hear her feet, her bare feet, kind of slosh away in the water as it dissipates, and you begin that meditation process again.
God damn it. I'm just buying time at this point.
How long do you bide time?
Apparently 4 weeks worth, so.
It's good. Well, yeah, you'll get there. You'll get there.
Hey, pull that out. Sorry.
Yeah, chat says cute jingle. Don't do it.
Oh man. Alia just excuse me. Alia just starts processing everything. And then as time passes, she comes to a decision. And I think at this point, she's just starting to, pray to the icon, just as a general prayer to give her strength, to give her clear mind.
One more attempt at a mystic powers roll.
Come on, baby. Come on. Don't do me dirty. Where'd it go? Where did character sheet?
Oh gosh.
Mystic, right?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, please. Yeah, for castle.
Finally. It's like you've been in underwater in a tunnel, no signal. As you have meditated and you've meditated, you don't know how long you've been here, but eventually you feel a connection, a voice, very warm and welcoming, the voice of your mother. You hear her, and she says, "I see you, Alia. You have been hiding in the shadows."
Hi, Mama.
Why have you called me?
I need your help, please, if you can. I'm in a little bit of trouble. I have a young innocent to save, but there is something much too powerful for me to handle right now. And I'm in here, stuck outside of my body.
There's a moment where maybe you think the Lady of Tears has left you, but no, she takes, it's hard to say form. That doesn't seem right either, but in your mind's eye, you see her, at least you think you do. She sounds of your mother, but she doesn't look like your mother. She holds a fan and covers the majority of the lower half of her face, so all you see are her eyes. But your mother's voice rings true, and it says, "Alia, you have always been the strongest. That is not because of your body. It is because of your heart and your mind and your great gift for empathy. But this also means you bear the great burden of having to make hard decisions to save those who cannot.
What do I do then? What must I do?
Do what you think is right. I trust you. You have been a dedicated follower. Your mentor, a dedicated follower. I have cried many tears for those you two have attempted to save and for those that you have. Today I cry for that girl and her soul who clings to this place for the most important thing to her.
I understand.
She says, "You are stronger than any monster in the darkness, Alia. If I remember correctly, you were the one child that never hid under their sheets. You wanted to see it, look it in the eye. Come out from under the sheets, Alia. Be brave. You will always make the right decision in the end." And she leans down and she kisses you on the cheek. And when you open your eyes, you realize that it's a little girl that has kissed you on the cheek. She has come out of her box and she stands next to you, Her eyes are whelped up and she looks maybe thinner than before. Her hand still wrapped around the small piece of fabric, and she says, "Did you find it?"
I know where it is. I just need to figure out how to get it.
She has it, doesn't she?
Unfortunately, yes, my dear. Let me ask you this. Is that fragment of cloth really all that is so important to you? Or can you make a new fragment of whoever gave it to you? Is that more important?
I don't know. When she took it, And then you hear a voice. "I broke her." She hides behind your leg, Alia, the child, and she says, "I knew that there was something left of her here. You lied to me, Mystic."
I just never told you the truth.
So now the deal has gotten all the sweeter. I see now that when I ripped that piece of cloth from her clinging hands as she sobbed and screamed, I did actually take something important from her. So important that when she had the opportunity to leave this horrific place, a part of her chose to stay. Now, aren't you a brave little girl?
Alia stands up a little taller, stares her in the face, and goes, "Did you know that when I was younger, I took a vow? Never would I cause harm to someone. Never would I raise my fists against others. I would always do my best to amicably resolve things, and if not possible, at least support those who need it. Well, today I thought that I would have to break that vow. But in my opinion, I'm assisting her from you. And I'm going to use my mystic powers against her."
Okay. I'm going to give you a +1 to this roll because, and all the rolls moving forward against her because you prayed to the Lady of Tears successfully.
Whee!
Okay, roll a mystic ability. Tell me what mystic, like, what are you trying to actually do? Because mystic powers are usually tied to a specific power.
Okay. I think what do I have? I have blessing. I have exorcism now. So I guess exorcism, a form of exorcism.
I could, yeah, sure. You're not necessarily exercising it, but like the essence of working against that. Sure,
Yes.
I'll give that to you. Roll a mystic power with a +1.
Okay. Please, 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 please. Yes. Okay.
Okay,
yes.
a 1. What do you do to her? Tell me by what are you trying to do to her?
I literally am trying to grab a part of her that I think is going to be the most important.
Of the jinn?
Of the jinn.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, let's not eat her from the orb. Okay,
Oh no. Oh God, no.
Okay, Alia. Do you put hands on her? I need to know that. Do you grab her in
Not
any way or hit her or
I guess it would be more of the side, not like actually physically hit her, but more of just like make a grabbing motion.
Yeah.
To try to kind of like if I see like a dangling earring or something that seems important or something on her visage that feels like that, just kind of like a representation of her.
I would say Alia would immediately know the most important thing for her is her physical form.
Mm-hmm.
And as you reach out and you like go to grab for something, you watch as like finger claws across her skin. She screams out, "What is this?" And then your abilities begin to choke her. You can feel her like, and she looks very confused. She's gonna try to fight back, Alia. Okay.
Okay.
That she can do that.
Of course.
I'm so sorry. Oh, that's dyslexia says that goes the other way around. Okay, she got 2 successes.
Fuck.
Are you wearing any armor?
I do think I have some basic. Where's that? Where is that?
You're wearing some protective clothing. Roll 3d6 for me. So those of you at
3d6.
home.
So I
got
do
2
3.
successes, 3d6.
How do I type this again?
/R space 3.
/R space 3d6.
I might have been /. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay.
Well, 1.
So 1, and then you see her almost like rip the mystic energy from her as if she turns it around and she tosses it kind of back at you and it smashes into you, pushing you backwards. You hear the cries of the small child as she runs off and into the darkness, into the distance, as this begins. And she says, "You are a brave one. I will look forward to sucking your soul out through your spine." And it's your turn. Would you like to do something?
I will attempt, at least, I will attempt to try to grab and see if she has the cloth on her.
I was about to say, okay, here's what I'm going to have you roll 2 things. Make another mystic power check, and then I'm going to have you roll an observation.
Okay. First observation and mystic, or the other way? It doesn't matter.
No, you can't see it yet. I need the mystic power roll first to see it.
Yes. Okay.
Another 1. You reach back out. It chokes her again. And this time, as her mouth opens and you kind of begin to choke her, you see. Actually, roll the observation. Let's see. If you see it.
Observation. I don't have. Can I roll wit instead? Just because I don't have observation,
yes, wit's is fine.
Yes.
You were very clearly told she consumed and ate all of this. And as you choke her and she opens her mouth, you can see deep into the pit of her gullet. There's like strings and yarn and things. And you are able to reach in and begin to pull from her. And you watch as the shumog begins to pull from her. You feel small hands around your leg as the little girl goes, "That's it. That's mine. That belongs to me." And she begins to cry. And as she does, she ages upwards from a child, and you kind of watch this kind of speed age of Lamara as she goes from a small child back to kind of herself, and she's on all of her knees and she's crying as the final piece of the shumog comes free. And as it does, so does a vast black pile of bile. And it spills out everywhere. And as it does, and it hits the water surface, oily blackness sits and it begins to swirl. And the little girl goes, "Quick, grab it."
Grab the shumog, or?
Yeah, the shumog.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I had it. Okay, yeah, I grab it.
Yeah, you grab it. It kind of flutters to the ground. You pick it up in your hand and she smiles and she looks up at you and she goes, "Look, home." And where the oily bile spill sits on top of the water is a portal. You can see like frozen over glass of the interior of a like cryo tube.
And I grab her hand. I grab Lamara's hand. I say, "Time to jump." And I jump with her into the portal.
Jump. And you are awoken. That cold breath of being inside cryo, and you hit the like interior button to free yourself, and you can hear the sounds of hydraulics. And then Sally comes over and says, "Welcome back, Alia. Vital signs stable." And as you fall forward to catch yourself, in your right hand is the rest of Malik's shumog. It stands with a chunk ripped out of the end of it, but it is in your hand. And the camera cuts. Who do I want to cut to? The camera cuts to the patter of Tamir's feet. Tamir did not go for drinks. Tamir wanted to go find a friend. Tamir, I need you to roll a survival check to see if you remember how to get. Well, you've been visiting her a lot. So I will give you a +1 to this because it is a tricky trial through the maze.
I don't have survival. but I found her, I may argue, using my mystic ability.
You did. I would argue that that is true, so you could do it again. You could try to suss her out that way. That's just like a pinging point to make sure you don't make a wrong turn at a right.
Okay.
So roll your mystic powers. Again, take a +1. You've been doing this for a while, and this is on your artificer because she is an artifact, technically.
Cool.
Great. No problem. Are you trying to do it with any kind of stealth, or are you just walking up and in there?
I mean, understanding how important it is to not have her found. Yes, of course, he is being as careful. I think he takes just weird paths through like the maintenance ways.
Okay, I'm gonna have you roll probably an infiltration. I'll give you a +1 on it since you're choosing to like try to take the long way around. But I'm gonna see if somebody sees you.
Okay, well I don't.
You need higher than a 2.
Oh boy.
Probably should have.
You can just roll infiltration.
Perfect.
Oh, that took an extra die though. Hang on. Oh, well, that would have just been the 3 off.
It's okay. So it would have only been 2 die, but the first 2 die were 2 6s, so I'll give it to you. So you roll better. There's at one point you think you might be being followed, but this is the cellar, and more importantly, it's the stacks, and this place is full of all kinds of stuff. But you're pretty sure that you were not followed, and eventually you round the corner and you come through that like netting of dense wires, and you pull it back, and as you do, you step into this open space of 2 bits. Guess what? Everything's gone. There's not a computer. The leftover hangings of wires and outlets, but all of it, chair, is gone.
I don't understand.
You can roll an observation if you would like. I'm going to give you the chance to see it before I say something.
Observation. 2.
From the opposite side of this kind of cleared out circular area where all of 2 bits life and gear and livelihood used to be, is a figure from the shadows, one that you know all too well. Mira steps out. And she says, "Now see, you told me that you had no business here in the stacks, and that you were just passing through."
I have no business. That is your business.
It's an interesting place, wouldn't you say? She kind of looks around at all the what's left. Chad's freaking out.
What are you doing here?
Well, I was looking for something. Someone.
Did you find it?
She gestures to the empty space. They were a step ahead of me. But what I find most interesting, Tamir, the engineer, I have spent the latter part of 5 years searching for the ghost of the stacks, the living artifact. Always rumors and whispers. Most people think it's all hearsay. But you see, there was something about it that I just couldn't put my finger on. So tell me, Tamir, how come it took me 5 years to find this place? and you just stumbled in here.
Must be the Al-Assad luck.
Her eyes kind of squint. I'm gonna...
He gives a shit grin.
She says, I see. Yes, you and your brother, the lucky orphans. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be so rude. I'm an orphan myself. She says, so, I have to be honest with you here, Tamir. Finding you in this little hidey hole all cleared out makes me really suspicious of you. You've met her, haven't you?
Who do you mean? I've met many
Ghost
people.
That lives in the stacks. She goes by many names. She's a cyborg, a living computer. You've met her, haven't you, Tamir?
He doesn't say anything.
Okay. Well, this is when she's going to start breaking out the big chops because she wants to know this. That's not it. Woo, she doggy.
He's resisted her before. Just
he
throwing
has,
that out
he
there.
has. She's going to try to manipulate it out of him. Okay. This is no small roll for her. Okay. You need to roll against her manipulation. So I will allow you to roll manipulation, or you could roll just a flat empathy check.
Oh, yeah, he is not a manipulator. So we will just go straight
So
empathy.
no lying. That's okay. We won't lie. She says, what is the word I'm looking for? Silence. Your silence says everything. She kind of closes the gap between you. She doesn't get too close, but just close enough where she can lower her voice. And she says, I'm getting close to finding your little friend. And when I do, I'm going to do with them what I do with all artifacts. I want what's in her head. See, you could just help me. We could work together, split, say, a cut of whatever we find.
Tamir takes a step forward. What about any of us on the Defiant has you thinking we care about money? If you want what's in her head, you'll have to cut it off yourself when you find her.
She says, do not worry. I already have plans for that. But it is good to know that for whatever reason, you have a... Oh. Well, maybe she has a soft spot for you. I've hunted her a long time. I've never found a weakness until now. Goodbye, Tamir. Until we meet again, because we will. We will meet again. And she kind of slinks off into the shadows again.
I think Tamir waits a moment and then just whatever box or something, whatever is left, just kind of like flips it over.
Yeah, flip it over. Okay.
Upset.
You toss it, and it smashes against like a metal crating. It makes a loud ringing. And by the time the sound dissipates, you realize that you missed the sound of footsteps. From a completely opposite side of the stacks of this circle area, you see a figure you know. The face mask and the hood, it's definitely Two-Bit. And she kind of removes the face mask and you see her lower jaw. She says, "You should be more quiet."
What are you doing here?
I could ask you the same question.
I came to ask questions, but your safety is more important.
Yes, this position is compromised.
Where will you go? Wait, don't tell me.
I was not planning on it. It is good to see you in physical form.
It's good to see you too. So it was real, what we saw. Where we were.
What is real? We were astral projecting our minds across the universe. Quite a daft feat for someone in your current power level.
I don't understand. There's a lot I don't understand.
I know this seems like a lot. What did she say to you?
Who?
The machine.
She is here and awakened. She needs
Yes.
followers.
She has had them. Well, some. I have heard her cries from inside her prison for a long time. I could not locate her, though I walked among the stars frequently. You freed her, Tamir. You and your friends.
That... the asteroid.
One prison for another prison. The perfect cover, I would say. But that is not the only corpse clock that has begun ticking across the third horizon. I can hear them in the night. Tick, tick, crunching and consuming corpses of those lost to the darkness, feeding.
There are so many questions.
Time is short.
Are there more icons bound by these clocks?
There are always more icons. They are brought to life when we believe. This structured society would tell you that there are only 7. Those of us that worship always know there are more. In fact, I had a premonition. The fugitive. He will meet another icon. The judge has finished his punishment. Someone new seeks. Yes. She stops and looks at Tamir. I must go. I have lingered far too long.
One more question. If we are applying the observer theory to this, if we so see it, it is. Who puts the icons? Who imprisons the icons?
The icons. There was much time before that which is written in your books and on screens. Where do you think the portals come from? How do you think they got here? The ancients. Civilizations before you were ever even thought of, before I was even thought of. The icons are flawed, each of them in their own way. They represent a single piece of a slice of a much larger pie. Sometimes not all the slices like the other slices. In a time when darkness reigns, machines become dangerous or powerful. No icon wants their followers worshiping the machine. Or the beast. Or all the many others that slumber on the inside of a corpse clock. Tell your brother I said I am sorry, but I knew he'd get off that planet alive. Now
Thank you.
Pie.
Corpse clocks, pie. Yeah, yeah.
Pie, same difference. It's fine.
This makes you hungry.
She says, I must go, but we shall meet amongst the stars again soon.
Please be safe and take care of yourself. Aurora says hi.
Until we meet again, Tamir. She goes to leave and then she stops one more time and turns around and she says, against my better calculations, I should tell you. If she finds me, well, she turns around again and says, never mind.
Don't let her find you. Go off and live the rest of your life. You deserve it. To find peace.
Maybe. But some things in time are written. She will find me. It has already been seen. The outcome. Well, I do not know.
Can the outcome be changed? Like Coriolis, we saw.
As I said, as we watched Coriolis fall, some things are written in time. They are too big for you or I to change. They simply are. What you do with that knowledge is the only thing that can change the future. Coriolis will fall. Do not be afeared, Tamir. Many civilizations have fallen from the skies, all of which who have risen and started again. This is how it is, a cycle. How is... She kind of looks down almost in shame. You don't see her emote very much, but she says, how is Aurora?
She's good. Do you want to speak with her before you go?
She shakes her head no. I may be 50% robotics, but some things are still just too painful. Tell her I said hello. I shall see you in the stars, Tamir. And you hear her shoes walk away as she disappears into the shadows, leaving you standing in this place, empty, figment of what it was, a sign of things changing. And our camera cuts to the sound of a cantina. Laughter, music. And Sue and Tal sit next to each other on bar stools. Are they talking about anything, or are they just sitting in silence? I'm interested to know.
Can we just picture that for a second? Just them awkwardly just sitting there, just staring into the cantina, side by side, just... Yep.
Yeah. It probably starts out that way.
So it would be straight up just looking forward and just drinking.
Yeah. After a while, Tal says, so, how's it feel to, like, walk around and do whatever you want?
As to not trying to be killed day in and day out. Fairly good.
Good. I'm sorry I didn't get there sooner.
Oh. No, that's completely fine. About a month, I kind of thought no one was coming, so it really doesn't change anything.
Well, you were taken to the most secure prison in the horizon, and it was kind of far. That wasn't easy.
I assume not. Are you uncomfortable?
I'm not on my ship. I'm always uncomfortable.
Why?
Because I want to be on my ship.
Well, I get that, but why are you uncomfortable?
There's so many people out here.
Huh. I knew you had issues with crowds, but I always figured someone who's able to pilot a massive, deadly ship to be pretty okay with situations like this. You handle it with such confidence.
It's a different set of skills. When I'm in the pilot seat, it's literally just me. It's me and the controls, and depending on how fast I have to take my ship, possibly Tamir helping boost some things here and there, but it's pilot is kind of a solitary job.
Well, let me ask you this. When we're flying through debris and Soul kind of does like the motion like ducking and weaving. Do you feel awkward and uncomfortable?
No.
Well,
I mean, that's when you feel alive. You
Do you ever
whenever
consider pretending you're the ship and the people are the debris? Would that help?
See, debris stays still.
I mean, people do too. Like look
People
at
are-
this. And I
no,
like point
people
out to the
are-
canteen.
people are unpredictable, so you should know that.
Oh, but I think what you do is unpredictable. Debris, asteroids, other ships, people shooting at you, people docking at you, people trying to board you, having conversations with people about boarding your ship. There's a lot of unpredictable variables in that equation. If anything, this is more predictable. People only go one direction or backwards. I mean, to be fair, in my line of work, I usually, but like, for you could just walk around.
No, not really.
Oh,
Being on a ship is solitary. It's you're not interacting with someone that is in your face. They're 6 clicks away in their ship over a
Oh.
screen, maybe. The people that you interact with on your ship are the people on your ship, your family, your coworkers, your friends, whoever they might be. You're not interacting with new people all the time. If you do interact with new people, they're station masters and people giving you directions for docking. It's all business. There's a goal to it. There's a predictability in the orders and the coordinates you're given and the responses.
I see. I can understand your point of view.
I need both of you to roll me an observation. As you
Oh,
sit
shit, an
here
asteroid's coming to the
just-
canteen, isn't it?
I was
just
waiting for
having
it.
this conversation. Just okay.
Where's observation?
Because you two are just chill. I mean, you're having a pretty okay. That makes sense actually.
How?
I understand your point of view, says Sewell as the conversation continues, but his voice becomes a little dulled as your eyes, Tal, catch that of somebody else that is watching you from kind of across the path, we'll call it, to this open-faced cantina. They're like on the opposite side. You're 100% sure this person under a hood is watching you. The two of you.
Do I recognize them at all?
Not with a 1 limited success, you don't.
Okay, cool.
But you see them looking at you.
All right. I note it in my mind. Tal tends to note people, especially ones that she thinks are looking at her.
Yep, and actually
that's
just
definitely one of the reasons why she's a little paranoid, is because she constantly thinks people are looking at her when they're not.
okay.
So yeah, she's marked that person in her mind. She's going to keep an eye on them.
Okay.
Try surreptitiously so that they don't
They
notice
watch.
she noticed.
Yeah, I would say you did make eye contact, and for a while they continue to watch you and still have this conversation, and then they attempt to kind of duck into the crowd, though you're able to see them. They use the crowd to cross over to your side of the path, we'll say, this like interior path. But you right now have kind of lost sight of them, but you did see them cross.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand your point, but like, it's, I don't know. I just think it's admirable. People always think when I shoot something and I hit my target, it's like, ooh, he did a good thing. But spend your entire life doing that, it doesn't really become a good thing. I just think it's pretty cool the way you can command a ship. And I don't think there's any reason why you can't command yourself through a crowd of people or asteroids or whatever. I don't know. Just my observation.
Saul, roll an empathy check.
Oh, this bitch is gonna fail that shit in 2 seconds. All right, there it is.
Okay, yeah, okay. He's trying. It still comes off a little dry, but he's trying.
Yeah.
And Tal, if I'm correct, you have some serious mind damage, right? We need to roll
Oh.
for that, don't we? That trauma.
So we it should have mended by now because you regain 1 mind point per hour.
Okay, so yes, at this point, okay.
I did roll, since I went down to 0. I did roll to see if I got a 1, and if I did roll a d6 and get a 1, I would be -1 mind point, which would bring me down to 5 permanently.
Yep. Yes.
Which of course happened. So now I am Tal is
At
at 5 total mind points. But we're currently all healed up.
Okay. Okay. So mind wise, you're feeling better. Sewell's words, you hear them. You can tell they are meant for comfort and like bonding, but they land a little flat.
Yeah. That's really good advice. I'll try that. Yeah.
You hear voices
and
that says nearby, I wouldn't take his advice if I were you.
Do I hear that too?
You both hear it.
Oh.
Do I recognize that voice?
You do. It's your sister.
Yes.
Do I recognize that voice?
Yeah, it may take you a little bit longer, but it is your sister. It is.
Oh shit. I ducked my head. I just.
Yeah, she still has her hood up. It's definitely the figure from across the street that was watching you. She pulls up and sits at the stool one down from Tal. So it doesn't make it look like she's sitting with you, if that makes sense. Yeah. She asks for a drink and she keeps her head down as she talks and communicates with the both of you.
And damn it. Say, well, fancy seeing you here.
Well, considering the fact that the last time you saw me, I was, she very slowly removes her hood and looks over, and you can see there's fresh scars that come down this whole side of her face. They've been sewn and stitched together, but she's very clearly lost some sight in this eye as it's gone a little milky white. She smiles even through the scars. It's definitely your sister. And she says, maybe it wouldn't mean so much if I was still doing the tattoo thing, but I got a new gig. She smiles at you.
What the hell happened to your eye?
Don't says, be rude.
Oh, sorry. What happened to your eye?
She laughs. It is Sewell. He can get away with that. She says, well, if the two of you want to finish your drink, maybe I can treat you to a more private venue for us to talk.
Tal picks up the glass that she has and slams it down after drinking the contents.
Still does this thing.
Yeah. She finishes her drink and she says, this way. She kind of puts her hood up. She leaves without looking at the both of you. Like, if you want to follow her, you're going to need to, like, follow her. Both of you can roll an observation as you stand to get up from your bar stool.
Dude, this is malarkey.
Yeah, y'all don't see it. It's okay. You see her, but you don't see the other thing.
I was gonna give you a darkness point because I want to see what it is. 14
darkness points?
Yeah, why not? Go for it. Fuck you, roll 20.
Nope.
Today is not a day.
I have racked up on darkness points on rerolls for critical fails.
Not if you're an Al-Assad.
Yeah, what is this nonsense? You guys are just hogging everything.
Okay, so
they're bribing someone at Roll20. I swear to God.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I can.
I believe it. I believe it. They smart me, those two. Look at them.
Mm-hmm.
I hate you both.
You follow Jalissa. She leads you deeper into the cellar, away from polite company. It turns into a lot of vagrants and people without shoes. And as you go deeper, it gets darker. The lights flicker. The both of you know this end of town probably pretty well. And Tal, you see your sister duck into a very small alleyway. You actually have to go in like sideways to fit. And memories start rushing back from when you followed her down here to come get that map for Sewell. Soul, do you come? Who's in the rear? Who's
I
coming
would
up the rear?
follow. I would follow Tal.
Okay, so you're in the rear. You hear something behind you, and as you turn your head, you realize you're being followed by two other people that seem to be wearing like similar hoods as her, and they slip in behind you and sandwich the two of you in. They each have a tattoo of some kind of serpent near, like on their face near their eye.
So and wait, so they're visible, like near us at this
Yeah,
point?
they're right next to you. Yeah, they like
Okay.
slip in behind you.
I'm
They
gonna
don't
just get
seem to
close.
be doing. Yeah, they don't seem to be doing you any harm, but they do slip in behind you.
I'm gonna get closer to Tal, like, and just be like, and like kind of lean forward, like, oh no.
Tao, you see the two additional figures. You hear Jalissa go, "Stop worrying, Soul. They're with me. They're my bodyguards."
I let go of my dagger.
Yeah, you like let it go as everybody finishes shimmying from between this alleyway, and you kind of pop out the other side. And in here, you've got to be near the center of the cellar, like near the core of Coriolis, because it's steamy and it's hot, and everything here is draped in kind of a steam. And she says, "Quickly, hurry." And she kind of pitters, you watch her very dexterously like run across a very small pipe that feeds off to the other side of this space. I'm gonna have both of you make an agility check to follow her.
Not dexterity?
Dex, I take a dex.
Sweet.
Dex.
Come on, come on,
Dexterity
come
is fine.
on. Oh, okay.
Oh!
Okay.
Woohoo! Soul, you're made for this. You follow her almost as well as she does. Tao, you two have no problem. You follow your sister. The two men follow you. It's pretty commando spot on, y'all. I was hoping to trip you up.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I was hoping to trip you up, and you can see beneath you as you cross over the pipe, there is nothing. It opens up into emptiness all the way into the bowels of Coriolis. You'd fall into nothing but open air. Yeah.
Where the hell are we going?
She goes, "We're almost there. Be patient." And she comes out the other side, and you see her like kind of elbow fawns a piece of the metal wall, and it goes, "Ding," and as it does, something like a seal pops, and she pries a door you didn't even know was there open. And as you do, you get the sense and smell of incense burning, and there's more than just steam in the air here. You can smell bodies, lots of them, not dead bodies, but like bodies in close proximity, sweaty bodies. It's a whole vibe. And as you enter and your eyes adjust to kind of the steam, your sister walks over and somebody hands her a massive staff that she kind of grabs in one hand. Somebody walks over and then removes her hood for her and adorns her with a cape, dense and thick, made of leather and fur. Yeah,
What?
black fur.
What are you, a queen? What's going on here?
She says, "Please."
Does this remind me of the garb that the one lady was wearing when? Okay, cool. Tal as she's just looking like, I see what's happening here.
I look over to
She's-
Tal.
She says, I'm sorry. We can talk in private now. Follow me." People kind of part for her. They take her belt of weapons and stuff off. And she says, "We'd like some privacy." And Sewell, I will answer your questions, I swear. And she kind of gestures both of you past very clearly her chair. There's like a chair in this room that sits up above everything else. And she gestures you into a back space where there's pillows all over the floor. It's actually not quite a room as much as a space that is made between walls of metal piping and steamy bits of Coriolis. And she gestures for all of you to come in and sit down. The two men follow and stand outside the door of this space.
I follow.
Yeah,
Then
I
that's it.
don't sit, but I follow and just kind of cross my arms, waiting.
Yeah, I know. Okay. She kind of looks around to make sure nobody can like see or hear her. She goes, yeah, I know. Some things have changed in the last year. And she goes, Sul, I don't even know where to begin.
Are you
But
a cult?
it's-
What's going on?
She goes, keep your voice down. We don't like to call it that, okay?
Oh. So it is?
It's a following. And I'll tell you about it, but it seems that the map helped you get out successfully.
Yes.
What?
Thank you.
Okay, where to begin? I haven't been entirely truthful, Tal, or Sul, or I've been working with Sholey for a lot longer than many of you think. I've been part of a team that she was putting together. She had a vision, a dream many years ago, and she saw us, the two of us, and so she sought us out in her own time for different reasons and purposes. She saved me from, well, a lifestyle much of which Sul lived. She kind of gestures over to you. So you imagine Sholey probably picked her up, Sul, after the death of your brother, like after everything went down between the two of you, that more than likely this is what she ended up doing.
Hi.
She says, we knew they were moving people, but we didn't know how. We didn't know why or what. So I went undercover. I tricked Alia into believing that I needed her help. I play a very good drunk.
It's because you've had so much practice.
Yes. She looks down again about that. I'm actually, it's all kind of been a front, a cover. So when I found out what your father was up to, it was a little late. I'm sorry. I felt a bit guilty. But the work that I've been doing, it led me to some information about these people. And she gestures. They are a secret group, a rebellion. They live outside the societal norms of Coriolis, banished to the bowels. Many have tried to assure that they don't rise, but they worship a different icon. She stands and kind of removes the like cloak that she's wearing, and you can really see the like vicious scar of whatever animal like ripped down her face. She turns around and she pulls her shirt up so that you can see her back, and on her back, amidst the many scars of her past, is a new tattoo. Done by hand, of a serpent, many-headed. She breathes and the heads of the serpent look like they move. Never heard of it, right? No icon that you know of?
No, but you know, I mean,
Looks cool.
can't. Snakes.
Yeah, I'm sorry about...
What is going on here?
I heard you had arrived, and I wanted to see you. The last time you left me in a dire combat, in which took me roughly 3 weeks to complete, as I fought the beast in the bowels of Coriolis. I succeeded in hand-to-hand combat with it, and gained the right to run this group of rebels.
I'm sorry, you fought something for 3 weeks?
She says, I am wearing its skin. And she holds up the cloak. You can see this kind of black, shiny fur, not bear fur. It looks more like feline fur of some kind. And she says, this is, and it's massive. It goes all the way to the ground. She says, this is about a quarter of the actual beast. She says, the rest of its fur I used as a rug in the main hall. It stretched 12 feet.
Okay. Um,
I'm really proud of you.
She says, well, it wasn't much of my choice, but I had to. I guess to get the map.
I was honestly worried I was leaving you to your death.
She's like, you kind of did.
What? Didn't give me a choice.
You're right.
I'm just looking like back and forth, just like, what the fuck?
I told you, Soul. I turned to him and I say, I told you, Soul. We did a lot to get you out of there.
Okay.
And
about that,
it wasn't easy.
I would say that it was entirely selfless, but I would be lying. Again, Soul, I was I remember what you said you saw on Kua when we were. You are like I am. We don't really have a place with them anymore. And she kind of gestures above, meaning to the top side of Coriolis.
Okay.
A soldier like you is perfect for the kind of work that we do.
12 feet monsters?
No. She kind of puts her hands up. That's a one-time thing. It's gone now, so you can't really hunt it anymore. Plus, you'd kind of unseat me, and, well, I might have to kill you. So, no. What I was trying to say, I think, is we're trying to locate the icons. Our group. We're working very hard to unseat what the Nazarene sacrifice is doing. And you can see she gets very, very serious for really the first time. Like, she's kind of getting to the crux of the matter. And she says, let me guess. You think it's the Order of the Para.
I look at Tal and was like, I don't fucking know anything.
What the signs were pointing to, which means I don't trust it.
This is why we're sisters. She smiles. Our instincts are the same. We didn't really trust it either. What we have found is that an ancient cult that has tried very hard to be put to rest many times has actually been festering. The Nazarene sacrifice is growing. And they are everywhere. They are the true culprits behind the Mysticides, the missing people, that facility you all blew up.
Oh, did you hear about that?
She says, who didn't hear about that?
No, that you heard that we did it. That's
she says,
that's the point. That
yeah, she says, like I didn't know it was you.
Well, you know, the Tuma signature is bold.
She says, look, I'm not here to judge either of you. I'm literally wearing the fur of a massive cat that I killed in the bowels of this space station, and now I run a cult, okay?
Like I said, the Tuma signature is bold.
It is a cult.
I'm just saying. So I
mean, you hunt a monster, you wear its skin, and you got people taking your armor off. That's kind of weird.
She goes, come with me. Let me show you. She's like, I know it's kind of strange, but these people need a leader. They need leaders.
I mean, you're wearing a fur jacket. It seems like you're the leader.
Yes, but I can't do it by myself. And something bigger is coming. I know that you know that. And you can try to play stupid and tell me that a year inside of that prison dulled your brain, but I know that that is a lie. She says, let me show you what we're doing.
I mean, I look over the towel like, yeah. I'm. It's like he's like looking for confirmation.
Tao looks completely unsurprised and like, let's move on. Come on. Keep it going.
She gets up and she says, if it makes you feel better, I'll take the cloak off. And she kind of hangs it up on a, just like a pipe that's like jutting out from the wall or whatever. She looks somewhat more normal, but you can see that the spacesuit, the very skin tight spacesuit that she wears, is made of snake skin.
Yeah, of course.
Jet black snake skin. And she does. She leads you here and there. People wave as she passes. Some people whisper. All good things, like more in awe of her presence. And she says, "These people have been forgotten. The dredge of society. Some of them Sholi and I saved." She kind of looks around. Some of them still need saving. And she gestures to like an old man who sits kind of holding his knees and rocking back and forth, clearly having experienced something traumatic. And she leads you down into an actual chamber, like a circular one, a cylindrical one, the way a silo might be built. And you see it on the floor, this massive black fur rug. On the wall is mounted the head of the beast.
Wow.
Which is not small at all. A kind of feline-like face, multiple eyes, kind of open mouth is like on the wall, staring down at all of you.
Does this look like the one that Sul put down on Kua?
This looks like the one Sul put down on Kua times like 5. It's massive.
Shit.
Okay, cool. Just making sure we got the same picture in our head. Great.
Very similar, though. Very, very similar, at least from what you can tell. Who knows?
Look,
Maybe it's
Sul.
just a... Yeah.
It's your cat's mom.
Why would you bring that up now?
I was just trying to give you something in common. I don't know.
She goes, I don't know what you're talking about, but we believe it to have been, living in Coriolis for quite a while. Down here, it needed the heat and the radiation to grow and fester.
I believe it. That thing is massive. How did you okay, yeah. You can
Are you
show
asking me
me
how I killed it? She
No.
kind of looks at you like, do you really have to ask me that question?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Once again, I'm really proud of you. Just
She
putting
stops
that
and
out
like
there.
looks at you, like really stops, and she says, now that is something I didn't think I'd ever hear.
Well, I mean, you brought down that cat. Since the last time I saw you, you brought down that cat and became a leader of your own cult. I mean, good job, sis.
It was kind of given to me as per the job, and the killing of the beast is all part of the ritual. And Tal, you see baskets off to the side. You know these baskets? They have snakes in them because your sister was bit by one. And she says, well, I don't mean to keep you. We were about to eat if you would like to stay to join us. And she gestures to a big table that has like 25, maybe 30 like seats at it. Big, long table. Made of the wing of a vessel. A repurposed wing of a starship. Like the fan blade or whatever.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
So, you hungry?
I was told to never really eat anything offered by a cult.
I
She
can
says,
assure
"I
you
really-"
my sister won't poison us.
She goes, I really wish you'd stop calling it a cult, Sewell. It's not really a cult at all.
Okay, a
It's-
close following.
you call it whatever you want. I mean, yeah, I guess we can grab a bite and then. Yeah, I mean, you killed that thing. I'll eat whatever you put in front of me.
She goes, good. You two can sit next to me. And she
Oh, boy.
obviously sits at the head of this table and gestures for the two of you to take right and left side of her. And other people gather in the chamber. Quite a lot of people take to like the benches around the center of the or edges of the room, so they don't have like a proper table, but everybody eats together. And all of these people kind of pile in. Food comes out, hot food, like cooked food. And she says, we steam everything here, and gestures to like the space, and she says, but it sure does make for the best meat.
I still just like takes a bite and then
It
just kind
is
of
good. It is definitely not veggie paste, sir, and it is probably the first hot meal that you have had in a year.
all right. Then I just go in. I'm just going in.
You start eating, and a couple people, like, you can see they actually take laugh a little bit. These people don't seem as uptight. Everybody here seems very humble and very welcoming, and they take your monstrous eating habits as a sign that you enjoy their food, as a compliment.
I look over to Jalissa. So you said these people are like us? Like, what does that mean? Where are they from? How did he get here?
Some of them are from, well, everywhere. She points to a couple. She says, those two. I helped them escape a container. They were to be shipped down to Kua. And that woman there, and she points to the woman that's like serving food. She's very clearly the woman at like the big pot that this like meatloaf type thing that you're eating has come out of. And she says, the cook. She was a mother of 3.
What? Okay.
She says, was, of course.
Gotcha.
Now she takes care of us like her family. And she's got a mean right hook.
Oh, I believe it.
She's
Yeah.
Doesn't
not
sound
a,
like
this is
anybody
not a
I
small
know.
lady. she's kind of a stout little woman. And she says, but yes, they come from all different places, but all of them have one purpose. In some way, we have all been touched by whatever is going on, whatever is being planted. The darkness has taken things from all of us. We just want to fix that. And we want to give the beast his rightful place among the icons. He's always looked down upon as less than, because he is the beast. But the beast is powerful and strong. And she gestures to the opposite side of the room, from like the head of the creature she killed. And you can see there's a mosaic that has been placed on the front-facing side of whatever this surface is of the interior of this bowels of Coriolis. And it is of a rather androgynous figure that like looks up. They wear white robes. And they have like a halo around their head that is created by a piece of brass on the actual infrastructure of the building. The gown they wear is embroidered with gold images of serpents and thorns. The mouth, chin, and hands are stained by dark, almost black blood, and the eyes are covered with a tight satin blindfold. And she says, the beast. Actually, I have a picture. Because I have a book. Right there.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, that's it right there. I don't think I can get it closer without getting too dark. There it is. She says, I just wanted to welcome my sister and friend to the table.
Uh-huh.
Our table. And she says, I felt it wasn't right for me to not tell you I was, She kind of gestures around. She says, but Tal, you have to do me a favor. You cannot tell Mom and Dad.
Jalissa, that's the oldest favor you've ever asked me to do.
I know, but this isn't like, oops, I broke the vase, Tal.
She ain't wrong. This is much bigger than that.
She says, more importantly, we're going to be releasing. She says, we're going to be releasing an obituary. My obituary. I need to disappear to do this job. We all have to. It's part of the sacrifice that we make.
Well, luckily for you, Mom and Dad don't talk to me. So, as far as they're concerned, they've already lost both daughters.
They don't talk to you at all anymore?
Last time I talked to Dad, he said that Mom considered you missing or dead, and that it would be best if I essentially considered myself the same. So, no sweat off
She
my back.
reaches over and grabs your hand. She's your sister after all.
Kind of squeeze it gently.
They don't mean it, you know. It's just fear.
Yeah, well. Either way, it's easy to pretend. But if you ever, Tao kind of looks around, want a change of scenery, you know, you always have room on the Defiant.
She laughs. She says, as much as I'd like to say I could come back, I kind of have a new gig. She kind of gestures around.
But you know, you seem to get bored sometimes, so
it's kind of a full-time job taking care of a group of people.
Don't I know
she
it?
Looks at Sewell. She says, but you know, this place is open to the both of you anytime you'd like.
Sewell kind of slows down his eating, and he kind of takes notice, like when Jalissa reached her hand out to Tal, and Sewell kind of like, you can see the gears turning in his head a little bit, and he's just like, huh. And then he goes back to eating.
So I guess I wanted to say hi. That was a bit dramatic, right?
When are you not?
It's true. Hey, look, drama's part of my stick now. And she kind of stands up and gestures, and everybody's like, woo! Like the whole room like lights up, and people like clank mugs, and she says, these people need hope. They need to believe that the darkness is not the only thing out there. And I have a right mind to prove it to them that we can be a light. I believe that one of the emissaries is being hidden here on Coriolis, and I'm going to find him. Because if we don't, then the Nazarene will.
Well, funny you should say that. My crew is kind of in the middle of, well, a few things, but we've been charged by one of the emissaries to find the others, so you know,
right.
we could definitely work together on that if
she says, well, you know where to find me. And she looks at Sue and she says, it's the one you talked to, right? She kind of, her brow kind of furrows and she looks at Sewell.
If you want to consider that talking, sure.
She kind of rolls her eyes like, somebody's a little antsy about it.
This is a lot to take in. Tal, he like says awkwardly, and he goes, Tal, could we have a conversation in private?
Yeah.
So like looks around like.
She goes, this is the main chamber. Maybe just down through those doors. To the left, you'll find the combat room. It should be empty.
Okay. I get up and start walking towards the combat room.
Yeah, I'll follow, kind of throwing Jalissa an apologetic look on the way.
She looks at you like you don't have to. Like,
yeah, but
this is Sewell. Like, come on, he drama queen.
Still.
But yeah, she nods like it's okay.
A bit nicer than that.
Yeah. She keeps her place. She has to stay here with these people.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like pacing, not pacing, but just like walking as he waits for Tal to follow follow through.
I come in. What?
Um, what is your take on this whole thing right now? I know I had to get out of there, but it's just, you know, it seems like a lot.
Well, here's the thing is that over the last about a year and a half or so, I've learned to just kind of roll with it. So a lot of weird things have happened. And yeah. So I mean, I always knew my sister was a freaking badass. This doesn't entirely surprise me.
You care for your sister a lot, correct?
Yeah.
And tell me if I'm wrong, because they fight a lot, but the two nitwits, al-Assads, they care a lot for each other as well, correct?
Yeah. Pretty sure they would cut off their own arms for each other. Or any other limb that you required them to.
You see Sewell kind of like very different, not like serious, more so like he looks kind of childish. Like his demeanor is very confused and like kitty. And he goes,
Sullen?
sullen, yeah, kind of. Yeah, like he's pouting.
Okay.
As if he misses something. Oh. And then he goes, ever since you guys got me out of that rock, I've been kind of in a limbo, curious about what am I supposed to do next. On the rock, all I really thought about was ripping my father's innards out and tying it around his body and putting it in public. But apparently, from the news, I can't do that anymore. And I spent 9 months pretty much planning that, like in detail. So I didn't really know. But I do have a question. Why did you save me again?
Because you're family.
Huh.
I mean, I feel like I'm kind of having the same conversation over and over. Malik basically asked the same thing. You're just as much a part of my family as he is, and as Alia is, and Jalissa. Family soul isn't necessarily who you're born near or from or with, even. It's who you choose to be around. And I know technically you hired me and we don't always see eye to eye and everything like that, and that's why you came on my ship to begin with, but I actually like you. It's awful, I know, but that is what it is.
Soul has a very blank face.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Huh. And I don't, I'm not the best with understanding cues, but it seems like your sister wants me to stay here and help her, right?
Yeah, seems like it.
When we were walking out, I saw so many people that seemed just as lost as I was. There were little kids, and then the people that she pointed out, they're there because of what my family did, not you, like my bad family. I kind of feel partly responsible. Is that normal?
Just means you have a conscience. Means you actually care about things other than yourself, which is a really good thing and reinforces my decision to save you from that rock.
That's a good feeling. It
Yeah.
fucking sucks.
Well, I mean, it's good for the fact that it means that you are not an evil bastard.
Huh.
there's, hope for your salvation or whatever.
What would you do in my shoes?
I don't know if you just said you don't get hints, but you might not have noticed, but I try to do the thing that helps the most amount of people that I can, as like a general thing if I can. Seems like this is a good way to help as many people as you can.
About this time, you hear the patter of small feet. A group of kids, teens, some of them, the oldest is probably 14. The youngest probably 8, come pittering in, and you two are kind of looking down on what is definitely like a training court. You can see like makeshift dummies and some of that kind of stuff, and they come pittering in and take post, and whoever's teaching this self-defense class or whatever steps up and begins drilling them, and you can hear them like, "Hi!" as they start. And Jalissa comes in, and she says, "I'm sorry, we had to clean up plates, but I'll make sure you can take some leftovers back. I believe you have more mouths than just 2, right?"
Yeah, we'll be okay though. Keep your food to your people.
She kind of smiles and she says, "Thank you." She gestures down and she says, "This is our training facility. She kind of gestures to all the kids, and she points to 2 boys. They are probably twins, maybe not identical, but you can very much tell they're brothers, if not twins. And she says, "Those 2, I rescued them from the grasp of your father."
I like look at her at like, really? Combat and twins? Like
she shrugs, she says, "He had a taste for taking in orphaned children, but you know that. You and I both do. Those 2, he was getting ready to put them through the same program you went through. And then he, of course, became ill, or whatever the news is saying, but I thought that maybe they would be better served here."
I look at the kids training and like mentally kind of judge their form and just like observe, and just under my breath I go, their form sucks.
One of them is not too bad. The other one is not very good, but you can see his brother doesn't let him fall behind. And she says, "Well, I should probably escort the 2 of you back to top side, yes?"
Jalissa, if I was to stay here, what exactly would I be doing?
She kind of looks at Tao like, did he just say those words in that order? And then
Tao just kind of smirks.
She says, "Well, I think that's something we could talk about. I imagine there are certain things you would want to be doing versus other things that you wouldn't, but I think that you would make a fine combat teacher, considering the fact that the one we currently have is not teaching the students to your standard."
I look at Tal. I mean, if it's okay with my captain, I can change posts.
So, you have free will. You can come and go from the Defiant as you please. If you ever want to come back, your room will still be there. If you don't want to come back, your room's still there, and we'll miss you.
And I look at Jalissa. Well, I guess you got yourself a new teacher.
She puts a hand on your shoulder and she says, "Now that makes me very happy." And she says, "I'm sorry, sis, you're losing one of your crew."
I guess I'm just gonna have to somehow get better at shooting myself.
Oh,
Taking my best shot from me.
that reminds me then. I walk over to Tal and I go, if I am going to leave, at least keep this. and I'm gonna give her a little data stick, and it has like poorly written on tape. It says Gizmo, and it's gonna be. I don't think I'm gonna really need this. So if you would take care of him for me, I'd appreciate it.
Tal kind of reaches for it, but stops and says, "Are you sure, Sewell? You can still use Gizmo."
You know, something tells me that I'd prefer he be in your care. He's annoying, but he will serve you well. Or not. You can just use him as a Roomba. I don't know. Oh, and fuck it. He pulls out a small little bag that he's like had tied to his hip. And he's gonna give that to Tal as well. And those in that bag, give those two to the Al Assad brothers. They were one's a tag for my older brother, and the other one is a small watch from Hector. I don't think I want to hold on to these anymore.
All right.
I don't got anything for Alia. I don't know her, so just tell her I say bye, I guess. Anyway, listen, this is stupid. You just give it to him. I don't want
Jalissa says, "I didn't know you had become such a softy, Sewell. Prison really broke you in."
I can change my mind. I will take those back and go right back to the ship.
She punches you on the shoulder in a very caring way, and she's like, "Nah, I appreciate it." And she says, "And look, unlike me, you can come and go as you please. So, you know, you're not stuck here. But we sure could use your help. And we appreciate it."
Because I will come and go as I please.
She says, "I never doubted it."
All right.
Is there anything else, Tal, you want to say to your sister?
Before I'm escorted out, I turn to Jalissa. I say, you really should send me a message every once in a while. And if you hear anything about the emissary, let me know, because that's essentially all we're doing at this point, is trying to find them.
Yeah. She nods. She says, I'll try not to be as much of a stranger. It took some time getting used to this position and sorting out the best for these people. She says, but that being said, I won't be a stranger. And plus, you'll be back, right? And I imagine you're going to want to see Sewell, so.
Yeah.
Please don't let them touch my room.
You sure you don't want to get anything from your room?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm going to hide everything so nobody takes it during another inspection, but
yeah,
everything will still be there.
You could use whatever you want in my room. I have some nice guns and spears, grenades, C4, rifles.
I know. I dusted them while you were in jail.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Oh, and Sewell. And I just wrap my arms around him and hug him. And there's no tearing Tal away from you for a moment there.
Sewell's confused for a minute, but just like reactionary base. You see him just kind of like slowly return a hug, but like he's like he doesn't know how to,
Yeah.
He's just like, and then right before he's about to close the hug, he kind of gives like a pat, and then he just pulls it back.
Tal releases at that. All right.
Lisa says, "Well, that was awkward."
Was that not how you do it?
She says, "I'm sure you'll
give Jalissa a hug."
Yeah, and she hugs you back, and she says,
"Oh,
we should maybe
shit.
go introduce you to your students. I'm sure they'd like to meet you."
Yeah, sure. I guess. Okay.
And we see Jalissa lead Sewell down. Tal, you can watch all of this happen, and the kids seem very excited, especially the younger ones. There's a lot of like, ooh, ah, as they stare at Sewell, a like legit Street Fighter. And we see Tao. Not 2 sets of feet, but only one. Leave the bowels of the cellar and head back to the Defiant, where we find a very, very quiet ship. Maybe some giggles coming from the cargo bay, but Alia, as you emerge from cryosleep with the shumag in your hand, the vessel is deftly quiet. You are pretty sure you're docked, and you can check like a comm. You are docked, and it looks like you've made it to Coriolis. You don't know how long you've been out.
Can I open the cryo thing?
Oh
from
yeah,
the
your
inside?
cryo's open. Yeah, you've already done all
Okay.
of that. You're kind of like free on the ship, but you can see like nobody seems to be around.
I press the intercom button, and it goes, hello? Is anybody home?
Malik, you and Lamara would hear her voice.
Yeah, but
Lamara
there's-
probably shrinks into the corner of the box and goes, "Who's that?"
There's no comms in the box, so Malik
No,
can't
but there's
respond.
some in the cargo bay where the dock is.
Yeah, but there's no comms in the box, so I can't respond.
Oh, I see.
Right.
I see what's happening here.
He leans down and says, "That's the giant lady that saved you."
Well, I should probably thank her.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
So we have to get out of the box?
Yeah.
Okay. She has like a moment where she really thinks about it. And then she kind of pries it open and stands up. And Alia, you hear a clattering sound from the cargo bay below you.
I carefully walk down because I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm. And you catch
Wait. Wait till she walks in, and then we jump out.
That's not very nice.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Is it? And Lamar stays shrunk down like she's following your lead. Alia, you walk into the cargo bay. Roll an observation. This is ridiculous.
I have 0 observation. Should I roll just a wit?
Wits, yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, you catch, first off, you hear the of 2 people whispering in a box on the far side of the cargo bay, and you manage to catch Lumara's like orange and black hair like jut down as if somebody like pulled her into this crate.
Here's the thing: the box is only 4 feet high, and Alia's like 7 feet high. She can see into everything.
You definitely know that they're inside of that box in particular.
Alia kind of just stares at them, smiles, and then goes, "Huh, I guess they're not here."
Now,
And then turns around
Do it now.
and starts
Right now.
walking out.
Right now. Ah!
Alia like turns out clearly like acting, and she goes, "Oh my dear stars, there you are."
Immediately Mara starts to cry. If you showed any
What?
sign of even fake being scared, Mara's like,
No.
I'm so sorry. I
No,
didn't
it's
mean to."
it's a Alia, what the hell?
She shrinks
Become-
down back into the box. Malik, you see in Alia's hand is your shumag.
What the hell? Look,
What?
I gotta apologize. Now she's crying.
No, please don't say you're sorry. You didn't do nothing. I didn't mean to. I'm so sorry.
She
No,
comes
you're-
up
you're
like
fine. He's bad at this game. Or she's bad at this game. Sorry.
she like comes up, like presses her hand against your face and just pushes you to the side. And then leans down.
Is this
She goes,
really?
and then she like stares at me. It's finally, I'm so glad to finally meet you.
This is my box.
Her brow furrows, and she says, "Do I know you?"
Giant rude lady.
Well, depends do you remember this? And then she takes the shumag and then she opens her hand. It's the shumag in her hand.
Lamara looks like you have just found freaking Pandora's box, like the long lost treasure. She looks shocked and excited, and the tears stop running, but only to well up in her eyes again from joy, and she snatches it from your hand. And she looks at it in a really, really knowing way. And she takes the piece that Malik gave her, and you can see her like match the corner. And she kind of pulls it in and hugs it tight, and she doesn't say anything for quite a while, leaving the two of you a moment.
Where did you get that?
She without even turning to you, she goes, "Not now."
Fine.
Yeah. You can see she's like fumbling it. She smells it. And then she binds her hand the way Malik bound her hand back in season 2. And when it's all done and she's tucked it and it's perfect and exactly the way it is, she stands up. She looks at Alia. And then she looks at Malik. And she smiles, like actually smiles in a knowing way. And she goes, "I know who you are." And she looks right at Malik.
Yeah, we went through this, like, I don't know, 45 minutes ago.
No,
She-
goes, "No,
Alia
no,
conks him across the head.
Yeah,
Why? You're re-hitting me!
She goes, no, silly. Like I know who you are." And she runs over and tosses her arms around your neck and plants a big kiss on you, Malik.
It happens.
It's very, very passionate. Alia, you kind of watch it happen, and as she's done, when she gets finished and her feet are firmly planted back on the ground, yeah, that's what it sounds like. She's like sucking water out of carpet with a vacuum.
Perfect. 10 out of 10, Dot.
And that's a callback.
And there you go. And she looks and turns to Alia, and she says, "I don't know where you got this, or how you did any of the things that you can do. But thank you so much." And she runs over and she hugs you. And she begins to cry. She kind of curls up in a ball with the shumag tight, and you can see that there is an excess release of trauma, of joy of being back here. And she will probably find a place to curl up for the night. A rush of memories are coming back and these kinds of things. But as the crew of the Defiant heads back to home base, our camera ends with Sewell, deep in the bowels of Coriolis, standing in front of a class full of kids. They all stare at him in rows, waiting for instruction. What do you say? Do you say anything, Sewell?
Of course I do. So Sewell kind of stands there. Hey kids, I've been instructed to teach you how to defend yourself. Grew up just like you guys, so we have that in common. But what I'm gonna teach you is much more than just pulling a trigger and taking a life. I'll teach you guys what my family taught me. It's about brotherhood, family, compassion, and a bunch of other stuff I don't remember. But basically, I'm going to teach you how to defend yourself the right way. And yeah, if you guys screw up, I'll make you guys do laps about 30 times around this entire compound. So make sure you guys pay attention. And yeah.
One kid's
Also-
hand goes up in the air immediately.
What?
What should we call you, sir?
That's really funny. I don't know why I'm halting here. You can call me Solarian.
Master Solarian. And everybody
Yeah.
kind of like mutters. And we hear Sewell's name. Yeah?
Yeah.
For the first time ever. As he says it out loud, and the class mutters, "Yes, master. Yes, master."
Yeah.
God damn it, chat.
Sorry, I shouldn't have
Yeah,
looked. I shouldn't have looked.
You
Damn
should
it.
have looked at me.
I shouldn't have looked.
Yes, a proper sensei, and
God, you all suck
and the
so much.
camera pulls out as we see Sewell begin drills, looking at, I wouldn't say a new family, but an extended one. Families don't replace other families; they only grow. And next week, we'll return as the Defiant leaves Coriolis and heads to the treacherous place of Yuharu to try to see if they cannot locate this vessel. Chat, this will be the last game that Paul is able to join us with here for season 3. So we are going to be saying a bit of a goodbye to Sewell for the rest of this season. It seemed like an appropriate and rather proper way for Sewell to find new purpose after his punishment was kind of complete from his time in prison. So, Mike, I'm going to hand it over because we got an after show to do, and I have a feeling there's going to be feelings.
Oh boy.
Perfect.
We don't
Yes.
have feelings here.
No, we
Yeah.
don't. We
No
actually don't
feelings
have them.
here.
As
We're all
Dot
just
said,
robots.
as Dot said, this is Paul's last game. He was publicly canceled on the internet, and if you guys can figure out why, let us know in the comments below with your thoughts on how Paul got canceled. Hashtag hashtag cancel Paul, please in the comments below.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
He needs to be on the internet to be canceled in the first place.
It's true.
Snap!
Yum.
All right.
Hey.
With that
Came
sass,
out swinging.
man,
You thought
it
we were
is-
gonna be nice because you're leaving us?
This was a
I
sassy,
misread this book.
sassy episode. So with that, let's go around, do our introductions, and get the hell out of here so we can do our after show here, Paul's final after show, and get that up on Patreon for you. So if you guys want that Patreon link down below, and we will start first with hashtag cancel Paul. Paul, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet for now? And what are you up to?
And hunt you down.
What the
Wait, hold on.
What is going on? What kind of bullshit is this?
You thought it was gonna be some tearful goodbyes? Fuck that.
All right,
Nah, Paul, we gotta jump you out of the.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah,
cancel?
Paul, you're from the,
you
you're,
gotta get space, man. Come on.
you're from the East Coast. Blood in, blood out, my guy. We gotta.
This is okay. Yeah. My name's Paul. You can find me on all the internet on inwhat123, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, all that stuff. Sad to be dipping out of here, but I just want to say absolute phenomenal time. And yeah, if you guys ever want to just talk to me, you can send me a DM or chat with me in the Discord, exclamation point Discord, and Mike's Discord, because I'll be there as well, chatting and keeping up, because now I get to watch this show and talk about it as well. So I'm pretty hyped about that. But yeah, you can find me on inwhat123 all over Twitch, Twitter, all that stuff. So yeah.
Perfect.
I'm so thrown off by the whole cancel shit. I don't even know
Love
what
it.
to say.
10 out of 10. KP, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
Hello, everybody. I'm KP. You can see me as KP11 Studios on all the social medias. I do many things, primarily the show. I enjoy the shit out of it. I'm sorry I missed last week, but I'm back in the States, baby, and I'll be here forever. And outside of that, you can. I'm a photographer. I do cosplay and portrait photography. So if that interests you, check out my Instagram. I'm also having a bunch of other projects that are in the works in the background that have not been published yet. But if you want to check out what those are about, come check me out on my Patreon. Come join us on our Discord. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can say.
Perfect. Also making awesome shit. Aris, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
Oh, hey, I'm Eris Sabad. You can find me on Twitter and Well, you can find me on Twitter at Stitched by Eris. You can find the stuff I make at erisavad.com. You can find Gnome pretending to be me on Instagram at Stitched by Eris. Yeah, go buy stuff. That's it. Go on.
And as always, if you guys use coupon code HOTDICEDADDY on Aris's website, you get 6.9% off for a nice time.
You are
Nice.
Speaking of a nice time, Gnome, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
What are these segues?
Welcome.
Did you just like write my name on the
For a
bathroom
nice time
stall?
at Nomadic on Twitter.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. I don't know. I don't got much to say. I'm still at awe with this everything that happened this episode. Let's get to the after show.
Perfect.
Everybody just wants to talk about
Do it.
Perfect. Dot, last but not least, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up
friends, I am Dot. You can find me as Little Red Dot. Check me out producing Twitch things for Kobold Press most of the time, and the rest of the time, I'm producing more tabletop RPG. So find me somewhere under Little Red Dot. My big project right now is Stitch of Fate or Pod by Night, which is a VTM podcast you should be listening to. Put it in your ear holes.
Yeah, that's it. Guys, we're going to get out of here. We're going to do the after show. Check it out on Patreon. I'll link that down below. But for now, we will see you guys next week. So from all of us to you, bye-bye.
Peace out.